Man, that is like a coat of fresh wet paint right there. I'll tell you what, boys and girls. Dadgummit, why am I giving this to somebody? I'm gonna keep it. I'm just kidding. This thing is too cool. I just am so pumped. I get to collectively compile my skills that I've gained over the years and get a bunch of other people involved to do this for people. This is awesome. I can't wait to build the next one, or ones, or twos, or threes. It's happening, people. I'm going nuts. We're gonna go bananas, all for you people. Thanks for tuning in. Check you later. Welcome back. Appreciate you stopping in and check this out. This is our Supermini giveaway that we got going right now. It's actually going to end on the 4th of August. If you've been following along, thank you very much. This has been quite the cool little project to take on. And if you're a new subscriber, thank you heaps, because it's been really cool to just watch it grow in this short amount of time. A little bit. I mean, it's pretty awesome. I'm just excited about it. Now, I just want to touch base real quick on a couple things. I'm just itching to get this thing together. But before I do so, got our crankshaft back from my boy Jan Primo at Primo Factory Services out of Lake Elsinore, California. There is a link in the description of this video if you guys would like to get a hold of Jan. You can do that directly. I'd be happy to help you. Facilitate any of that stuff as well. You know, aside from the link for Jan, there's a bunch of links in the description of this video. Make sure you check them all out. Support them if you can. They support me and this journey. They have a lot of those companies in the description have sponsored products for this bike that one of you guys could likely win out there. So, and there's a heap of stuff on this Supermini. By no means did I go full nutso. That'll come in time. But I went pretty semi-nuts for you guys out there because I thought it was cool and it was fun. So, you know, that said, did a port job, you know, matched up some cases. I went sideways and Freestyle Fred came out on the buff job because I can't really resist a set of KTM cases or Honda cases for that matter, because they get like crazy shiny, and I don't use Vapor Blaster. Like old school, like OG, like one of them. So I go pretty crazy with stuff. Like I've said in prior videos, I'm not a YouTube guy. I'm a dirt bike mechanic. I'm trying to do this YouTube thing. Look at it, man. No Vapor Blaster. My fingers hurt. You get the idea. I was hoping to do a bit more promo, but yeah, it didn't pan out that way. Anyways, thanks for stopping in and checking out this other installment of Tony's Supermini project. On behalf of Elite Moto Factory, thank you guys. Let's go check out some parts on the cart. I'm back over at the bread rack. We got some parts laid out up top. Everything's clean and dry. Cylinder, head, clutch side. This is the bottom end. Transmission. Here's another tray. I just got some other parts. Consumables that we go through. Lock washers and woodruff keys and crushies and an O-ring for the primary. A new wrist pin bearing. And there's the primary cover. Clutch plates are all clean from the stock oil and laid out to dry. There you go. See? Everything's laid out nice and organized. Get put back together in an orderly fashion. Very specific when it comes to engine assembly. This assembly is easy. It's the assembly that can get kind of tricky, guys. Just pay attention. Develop good habits, not bad habits. Bad habits, you hit things with a hammer that has a claw on it like a carpenter. Get rid of that hammer. Get a normal hammer with a mallet and a rubber one. This is not Tony's tool talk. This is Tony's engine time. Let's get to business. Okay, that's that. That's the hammer you need. Plastic on one end, rubber on the other. No claw hammers, guys. So everything is prepped. Everything's clean. I'm going to show you guys what to do with the cylinder when we get to that point. But right now, I'm just going to start putting stuff together. I already oiled up bearings and everything. Those are sweet. Didn't take them out. Always a good habit to check retainers, though. At least the plates, right? Before I place this crank, I just want to check the side clearance. So I can note that. I got a 24 thousandths, snug 25. And that's the side clearance, guys. 0.61 millimeters. This is where I'm measuring. Thrust washers. That's a thrusty, that's a thrusty. Right there. I don't know if you guys can see it. Right there. When you're doing a top end, always check your side clearance. KTM's were notorious for being too tight, so they wouldn't get any sort of lubrication on the sides, and eventually the thing would just seize up. I mean, within an hour, brand new. So always check your side clearances when you do a top end. Side to side play is perfectly fine. You want it. You actually want a decent amount of it. It's the up and down this way. When you do a top end, push it to the side, stop it, and then see if you can get any up and down. You don't want up and down. No up and down. So first gear on the main shaft is machined into the shaft, first of all, but it's always the smallest gear, right? You see that right there? First gear, second gear, third gear, fourth gear, fifth gear, and sixth gear. Okay? So if that's the case on the main shaft, it's the opposite on the counter shaft. As your sprocket goes, right there, this rides in the bearing. So now we're looking at it from the front, back. Okay? You guys are looking at it from the back. I'm looking at it from the front, back. So now we go down. We're walking down the stairs. Okay? We're going up the stairs on the main shaft. We're going down the stairs on the counter shaft. Okay? First, second, third, fourth. It's close without actually having to take a tooth count. But I'm going to go with fifth and sixth. Lock them in as a gearbox assembly, right? So then we can just double check our main shaft, because it's easier to see on that one than it is on the counter shaft. So we got first, we're walking up, remember? First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. There's a little lesson for you. But always, if you get confused, like I just kind of did, I thought I dropped a washer, but got the rubber bands on there. Rubber band your transmissions, guys. It'll save you a heartache. I can guarantee it. Always go back to the main shaft just to confirm. I never took this transmission apart. It's brand new. I would always take a picture of it when I take it apart. Make sure it shifts before you take it apart. And then you can pull the transmission apart, and if everything was cool, take a picture of it, make notes on your pictures, and you print them out, whatever. That's what I do. Anyways, then you can always get the parts fiche off any sort of online parts house, Babbitt's, motorsport.com, Rocky Mountain. All those guys have great parts finders. That was a little lesson today. Actually, you guys got a few rubber bands, power flow kind of on a transmission. It's pretty cool. Let's put this doggone thing in. So those washers were all correct. You put them back where they came from. I always like the soft side of a washer going in and on the ground. Ugh. Bonehead. Oh, being sick in the summer is amazing. You're all hot and sweaty and you get the chills. It's dumb. That's going back on the main shaft. Soft side. You look at the washer, you can see when they stamp them. One's got a sharp edge and one has a soft edge. I always put the soft edge in. Theoretically, I like that it would flow oil towards the gear on the shaft. At least help a little bit. Okay, that is that. Now, soft side down on this guy to bring oil in to the bearing. Rubber band. Neat. Okay, that's together. That's done. We checked that off. This sucks. Okay, here we go. Get a new tub, Maximo Assembly Grease. Some of the finest grease offerings known to man. That was a word from our not sponsor. Come on, Maximo, get with the program. Trevor, if you see this, get at your boy. This looks like a tub of pudding. Clean up your brush. Make sure there's no loose hairs that are going to come out of it. That does happen. There's one right there. You don't want that going in your engine. That's like going to the doctor and getting your blood drawn and then using some dilapidated needle. That was a horrible analogy, but welcome to Tony's brain. Crank in first, because ATMs are nice. They just kind of fall right in. You don't need to go in the freezer. Or you don't have to hit it with a hot slug or anything like that. This little bugger's just going to fall right in. Just going to work. Things I want to point out to you, I'll talk about, because I want you to know that stuff, but I'm just going to keep plugging along. I'm going to drop this guy in. Just watch. Oh, rubber band. With a rubber band. Go around your cylinder studs, if you got cylinder studs on the engine you're working on. Wrap it around a connecting rod. Check this out. And it holds it in place. Not going to bash around on your gasket surfaces, because that's not cool. Before I go any further, even though I did not take this transmission apart, I always like to check the circlips. Keep your finger on the back here, because there's a washer that's going to fall off. Really tick you off. Just check your circlips, make sure they're seated. I rode this bike myself. It was a sweet burnout. Actually, a bunch of burnouts. It was awesome. And it ran through all the gears beautifully. Everything is seated on the main shaft with the circlips. Looking bueno. It's just, you got it this far apart, you might as well check it. Even if you didn't take the transmission apart. Just check the stuff. Check those clips, like I said. I'm going to put a little bit of assembly grease on this. And then your shift fork grooves. That bearing's tight. Okay, there we go. That is seated. I heard it thunk. Same with the crank. You don't have to smack the crank. You hear a thunk, it's in. Sometimes you have to pull them through. Rarely. I like to use a hot socket and then heat the bearing, cool the crank, falls right in. It's a beautiful thing. The shift fork pin, because there's only one spring, I think it goes up, so this would make contact with left hand case, because there's an opening on the right hand case on gear shift side. I think I'm going to set it right here because I'm pretty sure, and then I'm going to go check the parts finder to be certain where it goes. Okay, I'll be right back. So this is left side of engine. Left side of engine. This is there's two shift forks right here. That is on the counter shaft. This is one shift fork. That's the main shaft. This guy has one spring, right? Tells me there's three total, because there's three springs in this engine. For the shift fork pins. Now, but this one is facing the left side. That's what I thought. So I just figured I'd give you guys a show on how I do that and ramble some more. Okay, thanks. I'll check you later. That's how it's supposed to be. Now, fun stuff. Lay out these bolts. Rambling still. If you guys have stuck with me this long and on this video and the rambling, I appreciate it. I hope it's useful. I named this bike the Sledgehammer. Kind of fun, and it's because I worked with Tommy Hahn in 2006. Okay, that's almost 20 years ago. Holy smokes. And Tommy has this striking resemblance to Napoleon Dynamite. And I, in my brownness, pretty sure I can say that, have a striking resemblance to Pedro, if you could imagine me with a mustache. Anywho, we made a bet. Probably not the best idea. But we did. And the bet was I had to grow a mustache and Tommy had to maintain the look of Napoleon Dynamite until he got on the podium in Supercross. Sounded like it was going to happen pretty soon. Well, at least I thought it was, based on his riding, because he was riding really well. So I was like, oh yeah, we're going East Coast. Like, shoot, man, I'll grow a mustache. I'm only going to have it for like a couple weeks anyway. It's not a big deal. Yeah, my wife now and girlfriend at the time was not pumped, but I went with it, and turned out to be the whole stinking season. Thanks, Tom. Still pretty salty. But yeah, I had a sweet mustache come the Houston Supercross, which was the last East Coast race of the season, where he ended up getting second place. And with that second place, I was able to shave my mustache. But actually, at that point, I was kind of fond of it. So I got rid of it, though. And then we went, he almost won that race. That I am salty about still to this day, that he didn't go for it on Davey, because he was right there and he had the speed and the pace. And Tom, don't do this, but he did. Way to go, Tom. You still got second though, and I got to shave my mustache. Anyway, that's why I named this Sledgehammer. Wanted to kind of throw it back to some fond times that I had as a race mechanic, because it was pretty cool. I hope you guys like my story. Anyways, I'm also greasing a gasket right now, changing subjects. I learned this trick from my race mechanic days. Take yourself a piece of cardboard. I know I've showed you guys on other channels before, but I've been doing this crap for a long time. Whereas a homie, he's only been doing it for like a year. These gaskets, guys, it's good for your mental health when you go to rebuild an engine, because it's gonna peel right off. It might be stuck in some spots, but take your little acid brush, paint it on pretty heavy. Don't be shy. There's two reasons. The first was obviously when you pull an engine apart, it comes apart super easy, and you're not having to fight it. Number one. Number two, it holds in place. I know in particular with some aftermarket gaskets out there, they don't like to line up very well, and this helps that if you go that direction with your gasketing. Take my dowel pins, do the same thing. I'm gonna wipe my fingers off so I don't get my greasy nubs all over this nice clean engine. Sometimes it needs an assist. These dowel pins are wicked tight. Grease the bolts. You don't need a bunch of grease like that, just a little bit, okay? Look at that. It's like a DQ Blizzard. Hold it on there. Pull it off gently because it will rip. And we have some seals to grease. First, main seal, countershaft seal, shift shaft seal. Oh man, that thing is neat. Flippin' A, man. Way better than vapor blasting. Simply grease around that main seal. You want to do that especially because sometimes those lips can fold in, and that's not good when you're putting when you're putting a case halve on, especially on like Hondas, the 4-strokes. Man, those lips, like it's like a double lipped seal, and sometimes you gotta helps if you have a bullet for it, almost like a shock shaft bullet, because it's such a delicate seal. You got to be careful. Same thing, just be careful when you're putting case halves together, because you don't want to roll that seal over, because then you're gonna have a bugaboo. Okay, that guy is greased up. Thing with these is they got a roller bearing, which is pretty awesome. So the left side just comes apart super easy. I didn't even need to pick like a case splitter for this guy when I pulled it apart. I just tapped it with a mallet and she came right out. Okay, now I'm going to grease this part of the crankshaft up that's going to pass through that seal, just so it's nice and slick, because that will prevent that lip from rolling over like we just talked about. Okay, throw some grease on the transmission shafts. Okay, helps hold things and locate things and all that fun jazz. Same with the shift shaft. Sorry, the shift fork pins, shift drum. Everything will just helps things go together. You don't have to force it. Should be no forcing whatsoever. You gotta force it, pull it back apart and look at something, because something ain't right. That's also why we do the dowel pins. Okay. Another thing to note: make sure your main seal location is not too deep or too shallow. The KTM's, there's a shoulder that it bottoms out against on the other side of this roller bearing. So you actually have to put that seal in first before you put the bearing in. But you always want to make sure there's clearance, because this hole right here is a feed hole for lubrication to the other side of the bearing as well. So don't make sure that's not blocked off. That's what I'm getting at. So I'm trying to say with way too many words. Anywho, we're going to put this guy together right now. And I put some grease on the inside of the seal as well, just to help slide over this tapered edge so we can expand. Good. Another visual. Okay, all our parts are off our tray. That's why I like to keep trays separate, so I know that that's just bottom end related or top end related and right side, blah, blah, blah. Anywho, I'm going to slide this down nice and slow. And watch that main seal. Make sure it doesn't roll over. You can see it if it's... That's why we put that grease on there, guys. Grease on the dowel pins, grease on the gasket. So when you're doing this, it's staying put. That should just work it down. Our seal looks good. Move the crank around a little bit. Make sure, yeah, it looks groovy. Okay, that's that. Went right down. Okay, now bolts. They stick out about 12 millimeters, 15 millimeters. Anyways, I'm going to work around now the crank, and I'm going to go around the counter shaft, and then we're going to crisscross. Okay, light torque at first, guys. All right, that's them. Now we're going to torque it. Got my 8mm socket. Now we're going to torque it to 10 Newton meters. I like to go around the crank first because that is a lot of surface area it covers. Okay, now we're all good. So now I'm just going to go around, double check. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think that's it for count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, that's all. Now we grab a blade and we trim off the excess gasket here. Just find the flush point and cut it down. Make sure it's sharp. So you want this flush as it can be. Don't want an air leak. Okay, now we're gonna make sure it shifts. Always make sure it shifts first. Okay, so shift shaft is in. A lot of, like the Japanese manufacturers call this a segment shift star. I mean, it looks like a star, that's what I'm gonna call it. But it does locate a certain way on these KTMs. This is a bigger machined mark than this one. And the way the drum is sitting right now is this is at the bottom. So you have to push your shift shaft wing over, slide this guy over the top, like so, and it's engaged. It's pretty sweet actually, because on the Japanese they have a little pin and you can miss and have it incorrect. And then we have to put our pizza cutter in. A blue thread locker on this bolt for the pizza cutter. My preferred thread locker is stuck nuts right there. Pretty neat. You don't have to go excessive, so you just wipe it off a little bit. Sometimes there's old thread locker on there, you want to pick that off. If it's really bad, you take a die and you clean it up with a die or a wire wheel. This guy goes down like so. This guy goes in here like so. And that's a 5mm thread, so don't crank on it. Torque that to 6 Newton meters. And this way we go with a punch, pull our pizza cutter down, make sure our location's good. Slide this guy over here like so. Put your pizza cutter up. Now we're going to confirm that it shifts. I like to do this with the counter shaft. Second, okay, so there's neutral. First, neutral. Well, second is a little stiff, just because it's brand new. There it fell into second, neutral. Second. Third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Okay. Fifth, fourth, third, second into neutral. Okay, second, neutral, first, neutral, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Okay, that'll be easier. Fifth, fourth, third, second, neutral, first. Okay, I think it's some of that grease moving around in there. Okay, shifts. Mark it. Don't play around with wood keys, guys. I've seen them shear off. You are a stinker. Just be patient, guys. Okay, be patient with yourselves. There it goes. Paint pen. Okay, now we're going to put the clutch all the way together. And with this, I have to get a different lock washer. The stock one will not work, and it's destroyed like a beaver chewed on it, so you always get rid of those. Now, with the Hinson, you have to use the older style lock tab. And I wasn't certain if it was like, I think I got one that was like 20 and older, and then one that was like 24 and back. So for this Hinson, we actually need the older one with the thinner finger. It ends in 18,000, not 18,100. The one for the Hinson hub ends in 18,000. Okay, now we're gonna bump it up to 70. We have to bend over our lock tab. There are two locations on this one. One, some little grooves on there, they go down. That helps carry some oil into the hub. I just always like to go soft side in though. More spring pressure, want a stiffer feel, number one. One in the middle, number two. That's where they always come from, the factory. Number three would be a softer feel, probably a softer delivery too. If you want to hit harder, number one. We're going to number two. These are also 5mm threads, guys, so be gentle on them. Don't just go crazy. 6 Newton meters is all they need. I like this color. It was a gamble. The older KTMs used to have this funky green. It was like a green-brown set of cases. It was weird. This is pretty darn close. It's Cerakote and it's moss. Okay. Back at the engine bench. We're back. Saturday morning. Ran out of juice on the phone last night when I was finishing up the clutch side. Super not cool. What we didn't catch in the video is putting some grease on this O-ring right here to help hold it in place. Oh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
Power valve adjuster back together because we had it coated. When I took this engine apart, I made some notes here just to reference when I go back to reassemble it. So the power valve setting for the spring, this guy right here, the adjuster, was at 1 1/4 from all the way out. That's what they said it at the factory. So, and I had a mark on here, and my tool from NIHILO Concepts, these are pretty awesome. Actually, you have to get them or you can get the factory one. It's almost a 1/4 inch drive, but it's a little smaller than that. But these tools from NIHILO are pretty awesome. I'll actually link this in the description so you guys can grab some stuff from NIHILO if you want to. So 1 full revolution, there's a mark right there, okay, to 1/4. I'm gonna go right here, to 1/4, 1.25. That's where it's set at the factory. That's where we're gonna set it there. I did make a power valve height change. I just checked it when I got it out of the box on the 105 cylinder, and the power valve was a little bit off, so I adjusted it with, throw that down there. But NIHILO makes a bunch of these as well. It's the deck tool for the 105, but also the power valve. So I just confirmed the height on that and readjusted that a little bit because I thought it was off. All that said, this all works together. The spring tension here and the power valve height and the cylinder, it all works together. If something's off, bike's gonna run a little different. You can eyeball it. There's 2 springs in there. You can see it. There's 2 springs. It's like a dual rate situation. One's a little softer and then it gets stiffer. And then you have one that's a straight rate. You can change these springs out, I believe. Well, at least I'm basing that on like the bigger 2 strokes. You can get the softer springs or the stiffer springs for different power valve behavior. Get the right torque wrenches, guys. You can get a lot of good quality torque wrenches these days from many different vendors. You don't have to have the snap-on ones. I just prefer the snap-on ones because I worked my tail off to get to this point in my career. I wanted to invest in some nice tools. I use them every day. If you don't do this every day, you don't have to do that. Don't skimp on a good torque wrench. Don't go buy the $60 one. Buy the $120 one. You know, you can even find that stuff at Harbor Freight, I think. I'm not condoning it because I do this professionally, but if you're doing this as a hobby, sure, you got to start somewhere. Okay, you're gonna put a works connection oil filler plug on this guy. So I like I just love these parts that they make. Everything from hour meters, the frame guards, depending on the bike, skiddies. The perches are nuts. Honestly, the Elite perch, if it's a cable operated bike, that Elite perch is something special. All their aluminum is just awesome. The whole shot, the Pro Launch, which is one's going on this bike, is next level. A lot of hole shots pulled in professional racing with that tool, we'll call it. Okay, that was my works connection plug. The works connection, thank you guys. You're awesome. Been working with these guys for 20 years now. It's crazy. That is the right side. Now we're gonna work on left side and top end, and then we're gonna be done. So pretty neat. Covering up this water pump spout so nothing goes down there while we're working on it. Stator, and just to check when we get it in there, stator clearance was 22 thousandths. So we'll confirm that. Always good to replace Woodruff keys because they do sometimes get damaged. Replace the Woodruff keys. And also a little shout out here to Weehaw Tools. These little pliers are pretty awesome. Thanks to my boy Brian for sending me out some tools to try. I actually like these things a lot. They're really good for piston pin clips, actually, over my snap-ons. To be 100% honest, those Weehaws are better than my snap-on, little mini snap-on that was like my favorite needle nose for the longest time. And then I had those to try and was like, ooh, that's pretty neat. I suppose I should just link that needle nose in the description for you guys to check out. Oh, blowout. Be about 6 Newton. I'll just throw that over there. Okay, this rubber grommet goes down. Pick up the wires, go over the top. So, bracket, I should say. This is not slotted. Measured it just so I know where it is, mainly for a future reference to have the spec on it, but I can't adjust it. It has little shoulders to the back of it, so it locates it in the engine case half. Get this guy up here. It is directional. There's a top and a bottom. Just pay attention to it because you don't want it to make contact with the flywheel. The Woodruff key. Oh, this thing's gonna want to eat your fingers if you're not careful. So line it up. The magnetic force is pretty strong. Just good to know that information. because you had a running issue. I don't know why this just popped into my head, but it did. So we're going to talk about it, because I got nothing else to do other than build this engine and talk to the phone and show you guys in a video or tell you in a video. Should have done this with the Hellraiser. Who remembers that bike? Anybody? I know a lot of people do. Definitely should have documented better on my end the identity of that bike, because it had one, which is kind of cool. All of my bikes, I try to give them something, like an identity. I want them to have an identity, because they're a piece of me. And I haven't really built a bike for myself since then. But I'm not going full nutso. That time will come. Has anybody got any memories about the Hellraiser they'd like to share with me, and we could talk about it? I think that'd be cool. I think that's neat. Ideas that I had, or why I did what I did, or stir the pot in the way I knew how to stir the pot. And building bikes is how I know how to do that. So that was cool. But yeah, it's reminded me of when I was building that engine. I was like, hey, probably should have recorded that. Dork. That was quite the special machine to me and a lot of other people, come to find out. We're at almost 10 years from that now. I'm going to build another one. It's just a matter of putting the pieces together to make that happen. So just, be on the lookout for another one coming soon. This is the new V-Force 4R from Moto. These things are pretty neat. I was curious to see how they're going to perform. They got a much better reed stopper than the prior V-Force 3. Now, the V-Force in general is a much better upgrade over most stock components. A lot of the KTMs come with a V-Force production now. This is the 3 that came out of the bone stock engine. This is not a bone stock upgrade. The KTM comes with it though. The upgrade now from the 3 to the 4, you can tell there's quite a bit of a difference, even in the face of it. The different reed pedal design, it has a lot better stopper here, so it doesn't put as much strain on the reed like this one does in the back. These reeds typically will last 50 hours. At least that's what I was changing them at on the 85s and the Superminis about. Sometimes I was like 112s, I was tightening up and going about every 25. Every second piston or so, I check them all the time. But this one right here, this is pretty cool. The intake side as well is quite a bit different, but it's much more of a blade to help with airflow, velocity, and the way the V-Force has always been designed is they want the reed to be dish side up, so when it creates a vacuum, it sucks it down. Anytime you change your reeds, always check the direction of the reed, because it is directional. Pretty cool. Even like a rubberized material. Way to go, V-Force and Moto. You guys stinking rule again. They're a sponsor of these projects, so if you guys are looking for some V-Force stuff, there's a discount code in the description for 20% off, so go use it. Get yourself some stuff from Moto. They've been doing this stuff for a long time. 2-stroke stuff. They even had some 4-stroke stuff back in the day, like air boots when EFI bikes were coming along. I was using those as well. Some of the freestyle dudes, the velocity stacks, even at racing. We ran them on Geico Honda. It's pretty cool. Check them out. Okay, where's my 1211? Dadgummit. Okay, there it is. So also, speaking of intakes, I like to add some 1211 to the gaskets, as well as the manifold that hits the reed cage, just for prevention of air leak. If there's a discrepancy here at the gasket surface, that will fill it, and also keeps water out of the system. So I know we're filming this, and I don't have a comment giveaway this time, but let's just talk about some funny stuff that gets us all laughing. Like Anchorman. Anchorman is one of those movies that I really enjoy. You guys just want to talk some smack? I'm open to that too. We can talk some smack. But right now, I feel like I'm in a glass case of emotion. Ronnie? Is that you? Brick, it's Ronnie. I'm just kind of fumbling right now, guys, so help me out here. Stay classy, San Diego. San Diego is German for whales. Never mind. I'm not going to do it. I'm working on the kid's bike. Behave, Tony. One thing we used to do at Geico Honda is we would talk about Chopper Reed from Australia. And I was introduced to Chopper from my buddy Jeremy at the team. And there was this funny video on YouTube that he showed me. And he showed me all sorts of funny stuff. Henry King, Chopper Reed, Tourette's guy. No, that wasn't him. That was Matt. Oh, Bob Saget. Carolina. And then Chopper, his thing was always HTFU. Hardened up. Australia. That was good stuff. Really funny. If anybody out there watching this has seen that and would like to chime in and share a laugh, I'm all for it too. This is me. Glorified moron at times. This is that VHM 12 degree 105 piston. I will link this as well, the VHM products. I think they're already in the description, at least the websites are, but the specific products, 12 degree piston and dome. They have an 85 one as well, I believe. But you got to run their head and you got to make sure your piston height's correct. What I noticed when I first took this thing out of the box was how smooth the edges were, and their clips are awesome. One thing I noticed as well, kind of like the bigger market, I think the 250 and 300. So it just slips in here and your direction of the clip is always bueno. It's not going to fight you when you go to put it in. You're literally, I could probably just walk this thing in with my fingers. And then we got to figure out piston height so we can determine our deck height to know what base gasket we got to run. This thing had a 0.8 in it. It says 0.5, 0.2, 0.4, 0.25. Obviously there's a couple reasons why I do this, but it's to identify the actual thickness when I go to do deck height. But when you go to take it apart next time, you just make a note of what gasket was in it. I mean, that way you'll know what to always run. I always check it out of habit, but okay, now I'm gonna put the piston on. That will hold that in place when I go to do so. Always check your piston pin for your rings as well. It's already clean, but I like to run some 2-stroke oil on a rag just to wipe out the bore, get some oil in the crosshatch, but it also shows me if it's dirty. As I got done porting it, and obviously there's a lot of aluminum shavings when you're doing that. I washed it out 3 times, but I still just like to do this. Especially when I go put a piston in. It's pretty darn clean. If this had some sort of abrasive material in it, it would be gray or black, and then you got to do it a lot of times. Like when you get your cylinder back from replating, it's good to clean it and then oil it. But this one's pretty clean. You can use a white terry cloth too. And then I just go through with a dry one. Yeah, we're rock solid. VHM specs a minimum of 0.05 millimeters required to run their piston. So if you're running a 51.95 piston, you need a 52 millimeter cylinder. I just confirm it with a feeler gauge. That is 3,000ths, 4, 5, 6 at the top, which is the tightest point. 7 thousandths, which is 0.178 of a millimeter divided by 2. 0.089 is our clearance, and we are good to go because a minimum of 5. Right, that is the tightest you can run it, is 0.05 of a millimeter. I like the 6 thousandths area specifically because that's 3 on each side. Okay, so all that's done. Now we're going to go ahead and put this thing together, confirming our piston to cylinder clearance is good. We're going to get a clip in here so we can run the right side through. Intake is back. You guys fresh to 2-stroke building or rebuilding, your intake side, if there's no indicator on the piston, is always where your piston ring comes together. Here's your ends of your piston ring. They come together right here. That's always intake side. Never exhaust side, always intake side. No ring, tighten them down. They're calling for 2.15 piston height. So I don't have their tool, but I need to make mine work. Just my dial indicator. Find 0. We got our dial indicator set up to measure our piston height on this VHM 12 degree piston. And the spec is calling for a 0.50 millimeter piston height protruding from the top of the cylinder, right? I got 0.6 mil base gaskets on here right now, a 2 and a 4. And we're at like 27 thousandths of piston height. So I need to break that down into millimeters. Yeah, we're at 0.69 protruding out of the cylinder. So we need to decrease that. We have to add another base gasket. And I'm trying to figure out exactly what size I need to at least get us relatively close to that 0.5. Because right now we're a little tight. We'd be pretty tight. Our squish would be pretty thin at 0.69. So I'm measuring this in inches and I'm at 27 thousandths. So I need 0.5 of a millimeter. That's the spec. Convert that into inch is 0.0195. So the difference is 7.5. Now convert that to a millimeter. That's 0.19. So if I add another 0.2, that should put us where we need to be. If I had another 0.4 gasket, that'll be money. Move the dial indicator. I have a 4. Now zeroed out. Any more than 19.5, we got to adjust. Going to top dead center. I'm going down. You see that? How it's going backwards. So we're going to go back to 0. There's 0. And we go to top dead center. Son, I'm 1920. Doggone it. That is our piston height, and we're at 20 thou. And I don't really like doing like 3 base gaskets. So we're just gonna go to the 8, because I don't have other base gaskets that are thinner. I've got a 2 and I got a 4. So we're gonna go to that 8. A lot of specific measurements, guys. Take your time when it comes to building an engine, because it's not just slam or jam or do it right or do it twice or 3 or 4 times or have a failure. Like, just take your time. And it's pretty new too. Just take your time. The racing isn't in the shop. The racing's on the track. 2.5, get out of here. And 2.4s. So now we're back at 8. I'm gonna call it almost 18. Okay. So 0.018 in millimeters. 0.46. That job is done. Ring time. A little bit of Earl. Gonna check the ring end gap here too while we're at it. Normal spec is 0.3 of a millimeter, which that is 12 thousandths. 0.305 right there at 12, and then we got a Lucy 11. Bueno. There's my feeler gauge. Move it just a little bit. Let her facing up. Okay, now we do our squish test, and it's calling for 9. 0.9 of a millimeter. So I had my dude Dino at FBC spray this head with some special sauce called gun candy, which is pretty cool. This stuff is called mercury. It's pretty cool. It almost looks like vapor blast on crack. Trying to find where the edge of my piston. Feed your solder down in the spark plug hole, and then you have to cut it off with a blade. so you have a true flat edge that you can bottom out. Use a sharp blade because it's solder. Okay, I got my 90. I can feel the edge of the cylinder. We're rotating backwards, but that's okay. So, you already got it. The solder's just over a mil thick, so work all the way around. I just wanted to do it this way instead of putting 4 chunks, so I don't have to pull the head back off. Break it up in quarters. 0.9 is what their spec is of a millimeter. So almost a whole millimeter to squeeze. And you want it flat so you can go all the way to the edge and take your measurement from there. Just as I suspected, we're at 0.95. Right to the very end is where you want to measure, guys. 9.3. Okay, now we hook up our power valve. This power valve grommet that always makes a giant mess because of the transmission oil, and it's kind of rubberized, but it makes a big old mess. So get some 1211. Go pretty heavy on it because you can just clean it up once it's in place. So then you take the power valve cover gasket and you put it on before you put the power valve together. A little preloaded. There you go. Get her home. Yeah, there we go. Good, good. Okay, now we can put this guy on, our power valve cover, and I also do the same thing on the inside where it makes contact with that. That's rubberized, but it's just not enough. They just leak a lot, so try to combat the leaks. Some high quality gasket maker. This just popped into my head, so I'm gonna share it because it made me laugh. I was thinking of my buddy Cord. He's a dude that races around Utah, RMX, Idaho. Cord Evans is his name. I built him a race engine for a 150, and they used to tease me when we would be at the races with my boy Mac, because I was pretty nutso on the gate, and I had my boots and all this stuff. And they coined my boots the Gate Packer 3000s. Those boots got my boys quite a few hole shots. It was pretty sweet. Yeah, I don't know why it popped into my head, but it did. It was just funny. Cord, if you ever see this, thanks for the laugh, bud. Ryan, you too. And Tiffany. You guys all good people. Appreciate you. Before I go any further, I'm going to crank it over a few times and listen to it. We're creating suction. That's good. Yeah, you want to feel it creating a vacuum, guys. Okay. And you know you got a good piston seal. Cool beans. Put a rag back in place. Shoot. Look at, I can see my finger. You can't do that with vapor blast. Shucks, man. Sometimes being Puerto Rican really pays off. When it comes to buffing engine cases, lights out. Okay, now we're gonna just bolt check everything. So I start with my 8s. I just work around. Thanks for watching my video. There's the finished engine for the Supermini giveaway bike. Pretty neat. KTM 85 SX turned into a 105 cc Supermini with the KTM kit that you can get. It has EMF support work, case work. It's got some crank mods, balanced crank by my pal Yanni Primo. It's got a VHM billet piston, 12 degree with the 12 degree head. I wanted to build a Supermini. I didn't want to build a 112 that has such high service intervals. So these pistons, they say 10 hours. I mean, it's a Supermini still, like 10-hour pistons, but the crank is going to last quite a bit longer than a 112. So I wanted to at least hand that over to somebody that, you know, could put it to use and have some fun, rip some holies, stuff like that. So here's some closer looks. Ay, golly. Watch this. See that? You can see my finger. It's not a shadow. That's like actually my finger. It's pretty neat. Look at that. Skin color. Finger. Huh? Come on, guys. That is nuts. And that's that gun candy. Mercury. That is pretty neat. I just didn't think the gold head was going to do it. I wasn't going to cut it with this engine vision I had. That's that moss green color Cerakote. Pretty neat with a Henny cover and a black water pump cover. Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and get this thing in the bike. I want to hear it run. All right, guys. That's a wrap. It's built. Now we're going to go ahead and get it in the chassis, which is virtually ready to go, aside from some small bits. But thanks for watching the show today. I appreciate that, guys. If you could do me the kindness of liking the video, subscribing to the channel, tell your buddies that have a thirst for learning some dirt bike stuff. That'd be pretty cool. Also, go down in that description. Make sure you check out all those links that I've provided for all of you out there in the YouTube land. If you're looking for dirt bike stuff, I got a lead on quite a bit of good quality things. Also, utilize those discount codes. I put them there for you guys, not for me. So burn them up. Hit up Evans, Guts, Moto Tassinari. I'll be getting more as this channel grows. So again, thank you for watching this. I've met people that have placed orders off of these YouTube videos. It just kind of blew me away. Send in some work and all that. So if there's anything I can do to assist you guys, not just Supermini related, like dirt bike in general, 20 plus years experience professionally, privateer mechanic, factory mechanic, freestyle bike build dude, custom dirt bike dude. Like, I got a lot of stuff up there. I know you heard some stupid stuff in this video. There's that too. So I like to crack jokes and laugh because we only got one shot of this thing called life and we might as well enjoy it. That said, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Appreciate you spending some time with me. Go ahead and check out the website if you're bored, LeeMotoFactory.com. Pick up some merch. You want to support your boy. All that fun jazz. Appreciate you guys. Check you later. Okay, that intro kind of stunk, but it is what it is.